never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today's video is called 7-Layer Creator Cake. And it is about the 7 bodies of man. And by man, I mean mankind, men and women. You know, we all have, you've heard people talk about, well, in my spiritual body, or in my astral body, or in my energetic body, or subtle body. There's more than these 7. This is the 7 main bodies, and all the like subtle bodies and stuff work off of these. So let's just get started. It's going to be a pretty interesting video. The first body is your physical body. Of course, the body you're in right now. It's visible. We all can see it. It's tangible. You know, it's provable. These are our clothes. A lot of people call it a skin suit. Now, there are levels of development of these bodies. And the physical body, of course, begins at birth. So 0 to 7 years is the time frame for this first category. The other 6 bodies are in seed form, in a genetic seed form, like a genetically pre-programmed to awaken or sprout. It's like they're on a timer. So from 0 to 7 years old, you're only having like physical growth. You're not having any real intellect or deep understanding or any kind of advanced emotions. In this stage, you're pretty much in the animal stage. You grow, eat, poop, grow, eat, poop. You know, do it all over and over and over again. There's a big debate about this in the religious community, which, you know, we all know is something. It's a chaotic mess. But a lot of scholars believe that this stage, this 0 to 7 years, first stage of these 7 bodies, is the period, what they call the period of innocence for children. You know, a lot believe that if you die while innocent, you know, you won't go to judgment or whatever. All these things like, you know, emotions, because you can be hurt, you can feel pain and all this kind of stuff in this stage. But all this is like developing. When you're 3 years old, you only got so much intellect. But by the time you're 6, you got a lot more. So each one of these bodies builds up to the next body, just like tarot cards. How you read a card and then the next card plays off that card that you just read. And these are like graduations or progressions, these seeds. So we start here with the physical. Your second body, number 2 body, is your etheric body. And the stage for this is 7 to 14 years old. Now, in this stage, your personality is beginning to form, but mostly your sexual development is growing and forming. This is usually, you know, puberty, when puberty hits. Now, I got a few interesting facts about puberty. Female puberty usually happens between the age of 12 and 13 years old. Male puberty usually happens between 12 and 14. Now, puberty actually means that your body is producing the hormones and they're mixing or whatever they do in there to where you're able to reproduce. If you're 3 years old and you were to ejaculate sperm, say a male, those sperm may not be active. I don't know if you could even make sperm at 3 years old. I mean, I don't know. This is just how I'm putting it in a metaphor. But by the time you're 14, your sperm is active, charged, and can reproduce and bring about a child. Now, over the last 10 years, there have been some interesting figures put out. This puberty age, is getting younger and younger and younger. This is the main stage of your emotional development in this number 2 etheric body. So this is concerning that it's getting younger and younger and younger. The youngest woman to ever have a child was Lena Marcela Medina de Gerardo, and she was from Peru. On September 23rd, 1933, she was confirmed to be the youngest mother to give birth to a live or stillborn baby. She was aged 5 years, 7 months, and 21 days. So this would mean that she was less than 5 years old at the time of conception. Now, scientists and doctors are saying that this is possible because of a condition called precocious puberty. And that means puberty with all the essential hormones develops and matures at a very, very young age. They think that this may be caused by some kind of brain trauma, tumor, or stress within the brain where these hormones are released. Her father was arrested for, impregnating her, but he was acquitted for lack of evidence because when they questioned her, she told them she didn't know that as far as she knew, no one had ever touched her or whatever. She had no recollection. But, I mean, who else could it be at 4 years old? Okay, moving on. Your third body is called your astral body. Now, this develops between 14 and 21 years old. This is when you're getting your reasoning and your high critical thinking skills, your intellect, This is when a lot of people, and I smoke pot myself, but this is when a lot of people start smoking pot. Now, I started at 11, but most people start around this age, 14 to 21. And that, interferes with your intellectual, critical thinking skills, your reasoning, and all that, because it kills your brain cells. They will regenerate some of them after time, but that's why a lot of, stoners, they depict them on TV like sitting around on the couch going, duh, because and that's why they say it kills brain cells. But, and especially males, now females do it too, but during this stage, males are sex hormone driven. We all know them teenage boys, they all about sex. They don't even care if it's good. They just, but that's that drive, that's that development that's happening within their body. At this stage, you're also developing your ideas and your beliefs concerning things like civilization, culture, traditions. Will I be Catholic? Will I be Baptist? Your education. You're thinking about what you want to be when you grow up. This is the very formative time of the company you will keep, your friends, your partners, your relationships. 60% of mankind stops their spiritual quest and gets stuck right here at body number 3. They're all about, let me find a girlfriend, let me buy this car, let me get married, let me buy a house, let me get a career, and let me get some more sex. Let me do some drinking and some sex. And that's pretty much, this is when the drugging starts for most people. So most of the human population gets stuck here at astral body number 3. They never spiritually mature or develop or spiritually seek after this stage. Okay, number 4, your fourth body is to me, now it says on the internet that's one of the most important. I think it is the most important. It's your mental body. This happens from 21 to 28 years old. This is when you're really starting to get mature. You think, oh man, I can't go out and drink every night at 4 in the morning and be at work at 7. You know, you're starting to like really get adulthood. But your psyche is developing here, and that's critical. This is when a lot of mental illness shows up in this time frame, 21 to 28 years old. Your individuality is like peaking. Your likes and dislikes that will stay with you your whole life. Your core beliefs like art, music, literature, scripture, film, poetry. You know, what kind of house will I have? What state will I live in? What kind of cars will I drive? Am I going to be a farmer? You know, am I going to be a surgeon? And also, both sexes during this age group right here, they say this is your sexual peak, 21 to 28. Now, some people say it's the next stage, you know, when you're a little older, but it varies. It varies. This is a big one. All your religious views are formed here. Your concepts of heaven and hell, whether you're going to be a violent person or a non-violent person. You know, a lot of people don't even make it to 21. They're been to juvenile, or they're in prison or jail or whatever. You know, they've already kind of headed down that wrong road. That's why you try to save them young. You try to get them off that road young. Celibacy, whether you're going to steal or not, the concept of non-ownership, all that plays in right here in this time frame. Also, within your psyche, you are developing your telepathy. You know, this is when a lot of people realize, hey, I might be a medium, I'm seeing ghosts and stuff. It either starts in early childhood, or, you know, it usually kicks in at this stage if it wasn't present when you were younger. Hypnotism, you're able to be hypnotized once you reach this consciousness level. Your spiritual accomplishments will be here, like I think I'm going to be a preacher, or I'm going to do this or that. You know, you're starting to come out of college if you went right out of high school. Your imagination is at its peak. This is your most creative body. Your deep thought is really kicking in. Your clairs are becoming prevalent. You're clairaudient, clairvoyant, you know, clairescent. All this is happening during this time frame. This is when your fear is either going to make you lucky enough. This is when you either believe the government or you don't. You're scared of the government or you're not. You know, you believe in demons or you don't. All that fear is coming in right here. Now, like this body gets a lot of people. Card builds on each. This body is going to determine whether you're going to go on and be a spiritual being, seek love, forming your ideas of whether you have a higher power and a god and a king, and all that's formed here. Fanatical. It also, this is where agnostics and atheists and Satanists are formed. Witchcraft is the most high during this stage, you know, because if you dabble with it as a teenager and decided to become a witch, or you were a bloodline witch, then here's where you're really gonna, you know, be coming out of your initiations and really stepping it up right here. All this dedication, you are in a state of continuous consciousness, stuff that you didn't have to go through. By the time you get here, most people stop by the third body, like I said, 65%. Well, the fourth body gets another 25% of mankind. And the flip side, now we have 85% of all mankind and become fanatical, stopping here at body 4, where you get your cults, where you got because they're not going to, you know, be on a spiritual quest past this. You know, at this point, they're just kind of gonna live my life. I'm gonna have my career. I'm gonna have my kids, and you know, then I'm gonna die. But this is where you get like your also in this stage, a lot of people decide, you know, is there a heaven or hell? Like that. You know, I'm this has like really got a lot to do with, you know, how your life is gonna play out. It might have been Sanandal or Archangel. One of the most important things about the fourth mental body is that you're kill yourself and we'll reward you with all these virgins. You're mature enough, now, and you know that's a big red flag right there. This is when you can awake the Kundalini. So now the Kundalini is a challenging psychophysical episode. Here, if you haven't made up your mind, here is brought about by if there's a god or no god. Tantric, whether you're going to judgment, whether you have sex to bring it about. But this is a yoga thing. This is where it's taught in yoga. So I have think, I think I read this. I didn't start. I usually start what actually has fact. But the fifth body, the Kundalini is a very big deal. First 4. because it's in
The
this
Kundalini
body that
awakening
liberation actually
brings you
happens.
to the self-realization of
Number
your Atman,
6
or your
body,
soul,
your cosmic
as
body.
an immortal being.
Now, this is your most
It brings about
advanced
bliss and resounding
spiritual
love.
body. You know, or your,
It's all about
your
the
most
divine
spiritual
feminine.
body,
That's
or
what
your most
powers it.
advanced body is your cosmic
And the
body.
Kundalini,
There are
the
no human
Sanskrit
words
word
to
for that
even
is
put this
Kundala Shakti.
out there.
And that
this,
means
this is
serpent
what the
power.
internet said.
It is believed that the Kundalini
you know, this was all I could
is
find on
a
this sixth
serpent
body,
that
was
lies
it can
coiled
only
at the
be
base of your
communicated
spine.
through the
Like I
language
say,
of
the
soul.
tantric practice of yoga awakens
It's
this.
above
Meditation awakens
liberation.
it.
My
Sometimes
personal
it just
view
awakens by
is that
itself.
at this
Now the
point that you
Christians,
become whole, your divine
they hate the
male,
Kundalini.
masculine, your
They think
divine
it's an
feminine
evil
becomes
serpent
one
spirit,
again, like
you
we
know,
should
like
have
the
been.
Python spirit.
You know,
They think
before
it
we
comes
got
straight
separated.
from hell. And the worst thing you could
become
ever
whole
do
and you rejoin
is
the
be
source.
infested with a Kundalini
This is
spirit.
when you truly, truly, truly return.
The rest
home.
of the world thinks that
This
it's necessary
is the
for
body you
liberation.
go into when you die.
Kundalini brings about,
You know, when you first die, this is what you're in,
moksha,
your cosmic
or
body.
liberation,
Although you can
for your
go back
Atman,
down.
or your soul. Now, moving
And
on
that
to the fifth
happens
spiritual body.
from like 35 to 42.
Now, only 15% of the entire human population is going to
42
make
years
this
or whatever, maybe
body.
even up to death.
Maybe less than 15%. Those are just,
number 7.
you know, numbers
Nirvanic
I figured
body.
out of my what I
The
read
word
about it. You know, they had a
nirvana
number here and a number there.
actually means to
I averaged them out, and
extinguish.
that's what I come up with.
Spiritual nirvana
This happens
is a
between
profound
28 and
peace of
35
mind
years old.
acquired by
This is when, you know,
obtaining
you're
moksha,
really
or
becoming mature in your
liberation
life.
from
You know,
samsara,
at
which is
25, you might
suffering.
still go out and
It's
drink
the
all night
end
and try to
of
go
the
to work.
blaze.
But at 35,
You are in an
you know
incorporeal
that,
state
you know
at this
suffer
point.
if you do.
You have no body. It's called
But you can only
bodilessness.
sprout this seed.
I can't even hardly
number
say
5
it.
spiritual body if your
But the
Kundalini
Buddha
is
taught
awakened.
that
So
only the
85 to
void alt stays.
90% of entire
Where there's
mankind's
no
history
blaze,
had no knowledge
the
of this
question
fifth body.
dissolves.
And the point of this fifth
Buddha
body
taught.
is to obtain Atman, or the
So
soul.
what is the question
That's everything.
that dissolves?
It takes total commitment and dedication
I spent
to
probably more
liberation,
time
or
on this
moksha,
one
which is
thing than I
freedom.
did the whole rest of the video.
Right now,
There's
we
really
are,
not an answer
you know,
for
the
that out
galactic
there. I couldn't find it if there
beings
is.
are teaching that.
But you know what I did read about
5D
it is this the question is when
this
people say,
moksha
where did I come
or
from?
liberation?
How did it all start? Who's God's parents?
A
Where
lot
did
of
God
people
come from?
think
You
the
know,
ascension. I
how did
personally
the
think the
universe get here?
ascension event
That you know, it could be any
going to be
question.
the
I
rapture.
imagine just like anything else,
Because,
it's individualized.
but you know, 5D is not a really a physical
everybody's on their
place.
own
It's
journey,
a
so you'll
state
have your
of
own
being.
questions.
It's vibration.
Now, my personal opinion, my question that would dissolve at this point if it were me is, who am I? You know, and that's one of the biggest questions of all time. Who am I? Because at this point, the flame of your spiritual quest is extinguished. Therefore, you don't need to know who you are, because you already know who you are. You have obtained completeness, wholeness, reunification with the divine creator, Father, Mother, God. You know, this right here is the ultimate. You know, everybody wants to achieve nirvana. But really, you know, it's body 5 where you get liberation that you want to achieve. Nirvana is the end. Now, and I tried to look this up too, and I may be wrong on this. So everything I'm saying at this point is my opinion. It's at this point, you know, that you're complete. Everything's over. The flame is extinguished. Now, I don't know if that means the flame of your soul, or if that just means that spiritual quest is flame is extinguished. I would think, you know, once you solve the problem of who am I, you would reincarnate and go back through it all again. That's what we do. You know, that's what souls do. So, you know, I think this would be the point of, I've made it as far as I can possibly go. Let me go back to a planet, maybe not this planet, but any planet, and help the beings on that planet to obtain this wholeness and this oneness with the Creator that I've attained. And that's when you're choosing to be reincarnated. You're not being reincarnated to learn lessons that you didn't learn in past lives. Now you are in full service to the Creator. You are going back to help the Creator's creations find their way back home to oneness and wholeness with the Source, which is the Creator, our Father, Mother, God. Now, I just started this Father, Mother, God stuff
since I've been on this enlightenment trail. I always, I've always acknowledged the goddess. I've never really done a lot of work with goddesses, but I have always acknowledged the divine feminine and very much respected it. But, back in the beginning, what they say about God, when he looked into the water and he seen his own reflection, and it was his divine feminine side, Balboa. Well, see, that's what happened. He was complete, and he seen his divine feminine, which he was, in the moment. So he was in the divine masculine. She come out from him. They become two. That's why, a man shall leave his mother and father, cleave to his wife. The two shall become one. You see, you got your feminine and your male. That's why marriage is meant to be feminine and male. Now, I've had my bi years. I wouldn't say by moments. I had a girlfriend for like 9 years, and I really loved her. But it was more of a spiritual intimacy. We were really, really close. Didn't have nothing to do with sex. Didn't have. Although I believe I was incorrect at this point, I felt like it was more of a completeness with her because she understood my mind and my soul better than the abusive husband I'd had for 23 years. I hope that this video has helped you a little bit to understand this when people talk about the different bodies. There is going to be a part 2 of this video to cover the, the subtle bodies and stuff like that. I learned a lot researching this. I really did. And that's why I make these videos, whether people watch them or not. My grandkids will watch them when I'm dead and gone, maybe. And maybe they'll learn something. Maybe I can save them a lot of the samsara or the suffering that I went through because somebody took the time to leave them some wisdom. Even if I'm incorrect in some of the things that I do, or most of them, or none of them. I mean, it doesn't matter. There is no right and wrong. You follow your heart. It is all about love. Now, the energy, the vibrating frequency and everything, I believed that my whole life. I just had no proof of it. Now it's like everybody in the world is trying to prove it to me. But I still kind of hang on to that fear-based belief that, what if I'm wrong? And I get to judgment and God sends me to a real hell that burns me for eternity because he really is this fair judge, but, that he punishes, sin. But I've never believed that. I've never, ever, ever believed that. I've never believed that your sin is what would put you in hell anyway, even if there was a literal hell. I don't think it's sin that puts you there. Because if pedophiles and rapists can be forgiven, I damn sure can be forgiven for being a drug addict. So, and that's me and my 3D mindset separating that, making pedophilia a worse sin than drug addiction. But God, whether it's the God of the Bible or the God of the universe, said, sin is sin. It's all equal. If you transgress, period. I don't think it's the individual sin. It's just the fact that you got out of the light and you got into darkness and you done it by choice. There's such a thing as, the free will. We make that choice. That's why I say, and I've said this to the hierarchy of hell themselves, I can't blame demons and devils and Satans and Samaels for the things that I have done. Yes, they heavily influenced me. Drug addiction is a demon. I believe it's an arch demon. I believe it's one of the biggest demons that you can battle. But that demon didn't make me do that drug. I made the choice to do that. I made the choice. Just like Eve, whether it was Yeshua or the Christ consciousness, he wouldn't have been Yeshua at that time. Not yet. Or Satan, or Samael, or Osmodeus, or Azazel, or whoever was that serpent in the garden that tempted Eve. It's not their fault. All they did was give Eve the information to make a decision. They give her two sides of the coin instead of one, which is all she had to begin with. They give her, there's two sides to everything. And, a lot of people call that duality. To me, that's duality. To me, duality is the fact that light and dark exist in all of us. Jung called it our shadow, your shadow self. My son said to me when I had demons in my room, attacking me and stuff, he said, Mom, those are probably your personal demons. That's all in your head, and those are your personal demons. You're manifesting them by communicating, with that piece of yourself. Now, I believe that's entirely possible. But in my case, I don't believe that's what happened. I believe that I just let my mouth over out my ass, challenge the hierarchy of hell, and I'm still paying for it. But I hope this video has helped somebody. That's about all I got for now. I really appreciate you being here. Please hit that like button. Please. I know, I got subs, but only about 4 or 5 people watch my videos consistently. And, I don't care if anybody watches them. I just would like for them to be out there, because there might be somebody like me that doesn't understand all the high intellectual speech and language of of what's being said. And they may need some redneck, hillbilly, crusty old girl like me just to break it down in a language they can understand. That's what happened with me and Billy Carson. I've been watching Paul Wallace for years. In the back of my mind, I knew that the Bible had been tampered with. I knew that the Anunnaki were real. I knew the Hebrews stole their entire story, which, that's the way everybody rolled back then. But I knew it was true. But I still wasn't going to let go of the Old Testament, because that's a covenant God. We had a covenant with him. I wasn't letting go of my Jesus. I wasn't even going to, I couldn't even pray about it because I felt like it would be blasphemy to question God like that. I since have changed that view. I don't think it's blasphemy. I think it's smart. I think if you come to God and you be honest, say, look, God, I'm having doubts, whether Satan put them there or whatever, I'm having doubts. Please help me to have the discernment. Show me what is correct. And he will. The Spirit of God works. Angels are real. God is real. I just don't believe that the Old Testament God that sent the Israelites to rape and pillage and kill children and would strike you dead if you didn't answer correctly, I just don't believe that's the God that created me. I believe he was a part or associated with that God, but I believe he was a earthly overlord, an ET that was sent here. And I believe the Hebrews were his people. I do believe that. He was the Hebrew God. Just like Amun-Ra was the Egyptian God, or Marduk was the Babylonian God. I believe that different Anunnaki and different overlords, they were overlords, they were slave masters, and they had their own peoples, and that's how they all ended up fighting each other and everything, It's like war games. I personally welcome the ETs. I hope they do land. I believe in them, and I'm not afraid. There's good and bad in every race, whether it's extraterrestrials, humans, dogs, little field rats, it don't matter. Like I said, we all got that light and dark. We can, have babies and nurture them and show all this love, but yet, and it may be self-defense, but you try to hurt one of our babies or, hurt us, and we can kill you. We can go from being the best person in the world, the most loving person in the world, to ripping your throat out when it comes to defending our children or defending ourselves, And then you got people that take it further and just, kill because they need something, or they're heavily influenced by drugs, or they're just evil, I believe that some beings or entities are just evil. I don't believe that a soul can just be born black, that you could just be born evil. But, souls that are born that way, or souls that incarnate like that in humans, are not really human to begin with. I do believe in angels and demons carnating into flesh. God's done it. Jesus done it. Why couldn't a demon do it? Do I believe that evil entities incarnate in human form to come here to accomplish missions? Yes, I do. And I believe most of evil's mission is to destroy humanity or humans and their soul and consciousness as much as they can. Because if you're a true enemy of the real God, just like if you're a criminal and somebody wants to really get to you and hurt you, what are they going to do? They're going to mess with your family. They're going to mess with your livelihood. They're going to mess with what you love. So, you know, I truly believe that hell and all of its minions want any and everything that belongs to God, because they hate God that much. It's not that they really hate us individually as souls. They hate God, and they want to take, possess, and control everything that God has or God loves. And I'm pretty sure this is true because in one of my encounters with Samael, you know, I said I don't want to be enemies with anybody. But he told me one night in a session, he said, "You're my enemy." I said, "But I don't want to be your enemy." He said, "We're enemies," you know, and the look was like, you know, that's just the way it is. And I think that is the way it is, you know. Why do the dark entities want to destroy me? Because I talk about Yeshua. Even though they say I'm empty and black inside and I'm not going to sin, here's the thing. Don't matter. You can't change my belief. You can't change who my God is. You can't change who my King is. You know, are all these old gods bad? I don't think so. You know, if I had a favorite dark being, it would be Samael. I have a lot of respect for him because I feel like he was created as the Satan. You know, it was his destiny to destroy. He works directly for God, you know, whereas Lucy's running hell and opposing God. Samael is neither good or bad. He just is. He does things in a divine order. You know, Marduk has become one of my more favorite entities, you know, with my dealings with him. And, you know, as far as Eris and Seth go, you know, the Christians say, well, demons will lie to you about who they are. They, you know, I knew Eris was Eris. I knew that my whole life, you know. Did I really believe he was the God of War? I don't know. I never really give it a thought, you know. But he didn't pretend to be somebody else. He can't, you know, I'm Eris. Seth was Seth. I just didn't realize Seth was Set from Egypt, you know. But, you know, in a way, it's pretty cool to have gods as your spirit guides. But not really, because now I realize, you know, all these years, the way the lines are so blurred right now, I'm not even sure what side I've been on all these years. I kind of, you know, I knew I was in the dark, but I'm not evil. You know, evil is different than dark. Dark entities are not necessarily evil entities. It just means that their energy's darker and denser and a lower vibration. Well, I hope that this video's helped. Again, here's my third time trying to go out the door. I'm going this time, though. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit like, subscribe, share, and leave us a comment. I love to get comments. If there's any kind of videos you would like for me to make, please leave it in the comment section or send me an email. You can email me at beyondtheparanormalveil. I couldn't get Beyond the Veil Paranormal. It was evidently taken, but beyondtheparanormalveil at gmail.com. Have a wonderful day. We will see you next time. Namaste.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry.